Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. Welcome to another time here. Welcome to another time at the book club. Thanks. We gotta do this 2 p.m. Every Sunday, 2 p.m. West African time. So thanks for coming. Thanks for making it. We're presently doing a study through Night Book, and the series is The Confidence Game. The Confidence Game by Maria Konnikova. Last week we finished chapter one, so today we're going to go on to chapter two as we build on the topic, the confidence game. Chapter one, we talked about what the confidence game is and looked at it from different angles, kind of narrowed a bit down to the world I live in, which is the church. Apologies to those that probably feel I was being extra bashful, but that's the world I live in. That's where most of my examples are coming in. And the church is supposed to be the pillar of truth, but as it is, we have a lot of corruption of it. So I speak to the corruption. As much as there's a real thing, there's also the corruption in it. So in this series, we're hopefully helping ourselves to know the difference between the real thing and the corrupt thing so that we don't miss our way by those who are out there to hold us captive. Hold us captive. In John chapter 10, Jesus, let us know that there is a shepherd and there's a hireling. There's a shepherd and there's a hireling. That's a reality of our work. That's a reality of our life. As much as there are shepherds out there, as much as there are true pastors out there, as much as there are true churches out there, there are also hirelings out there. There are also impostors out there. There are also wolves in sheep clothing out there. There are demonic spirits and disguised, as angels of light. There's the Antichrist, and some of us don't know the difference between the Antichrist and Christ, and just not just on spiritual level, also in everyday life, you have people wanting to hold us captive, wanting to run riot on us, wanting to steal our money, wanting to hypnotize us, and thereby control us. So this whole study is just to help us to be wiser. The way we overcome these things is not just by being intelligent, but by being streetwise. It's by being streetwise. I've been intelligent all my life, but that didn't make me rich. That didn't make me have money. I spent 2 years without a job. I was intelligent. I made a good degree, but I couldn't get a job. When people that made less than me, or well, that made less certificate than me could pay my salary. To win this life is not just being intelligent, it's about being street intelligent. It's not what you have, but what you do with what you have. That's what's going to make the difference for you in this life. That's what differentiates boys from men, girls from women, is what you do with what you have. It's not what you have, but what you can do with what you have. There's that popular saying that when a man with money and a man with wisdom meet, the man with money ends up having, well, the right word is one with the one with money and one with experience meet. The one with money ends up with the experience. The one with the experience ends up with the money. Right? Is what you have. Is what you have. Sorry, it's not just what you have, right? It's what you do or can do with what you have. The man with the money didn't have anything more than the money, so he got the experience, right? He didn't know how to use his money. He didn't have the experience to use his money. He didn't have the experience to protect his money. The guy with the experience, didn't have money, but he had experience and he knew how to use the experience, was able to get the money from the guy that had money. The guy that had money ended up with the experience. Hopefully, we'll do better next time, right? But what we do here, is to do life together and hopefully help one another such that that does not become our story. We're able to keep what we have and also get more. We're able to keep what we have and hopefully get more. We try to help one another in such a way that we can win in the affairs of life. We can win in the moments of our life. We can win in the days of our life. We can win in the weeks of our life. We can win in the months of our life. We can win in the years of our life. Albeit we have 2026 coming upon us right now. What are you doing to prepare for 126 or 2026? What are you doing to ensure you're going to win in 2026? Are you making the best of your today to prepare yourself for 2026? Riches don't come by accident. Failure comes. We don't have to plan for failure, it will come your way. But if you're going to get riches in this life, if you're going to get the best out of this life, you have to plan for it. That's a popular thing we'll say. If you don't plan, then you're planning to fail. Not planning is planning to fail. If you're going to win, you have to plan for it. You have to seek for the right wisdom, seek for the right lessons learned, seek for the ways, the method of those that have gone ahead. How did they make it? How can I replicate their experience in my life? How can I replicate their experience in my life? Because if you don't, it will not happen. Right? Good things don't happen by accident. Bad things do. Bad things do. By reason of the fall of man, bad things are targeted or destined to happen to everyone. But if you want good in your life, then you have to do something about it. You have to align yourself to the good. Otherwise, it will miss you, right? You have to do something for yourself if you want good to come your way. I posted this morning the fact that 2026 is going to be a good year for me because I am the one writing the story, right? I had one stupid person come along, and he was saying that he didn't understand what I was saying, right? I needed rather for him to ask questions and seek to understand. He was saying some stupid things as if it was an offense for me to plan my own life. He's not planning his own life. He's had a sorrowful 2025. And he has not learned his lesson from his sorrowful, backward, impoverished 2025. He wants to carry the same thing to 2026. He has not learned anything. It's like the man that was by the pool of Siloam and stayed there 38 years, saying, I have no man. I have no man. I have no man. This fool that came onto my page, this morning, was saying, because Tinubu is the president in Nigeria, so we cannot think of having good in 2026. Yes, the only way we're gonna have good in 2026 is to have his own townsman, his own ethnic person be the president of Nigeria. Such foolish people, right? They're such foolish people that have no destiny, no faith, no ambition in their life, unfortunately fuel the social media, right? And no, yeah. So hopefully we don't get ourselves with such people. Coincidentally, I'm studying Proverbs chapter 9 at this point in time, and Proverbs chapter 9 verse 7 says that he that tries to help the scoffer will hurt himself. So such people are irredeemable. They are scoffers, right? So it's going to go what we're going to share today, right? All of this an introduction, that you have to be mindful of the people you meet and how to relate with them. Don't waste your time with a scoffer. They're irredeemable. They don't want to be redeemed. The devil has hacked their mind. They don't know good from evil. They will find they will find a problem in every solution. Right. They rejoice in their suffering. If you give them a way to come out of their hell, they will try to draw you into the same hell that they are in. Right. There's what we would typically say in the fella song, suffering and smiling. They're suffering and they don't want redemption. But yet they complain about the seeming thing they think is what's keeping them a prisoner, right? They're unwilling to do something about their situation to become better, right? But that's not you. If you come in here, that's not you. I know for sure. If you're listening to me, then that is not you. Because to listen to me means that you want your life to be better. To be listening to me means that you're one of those that are destined for heaven, both in this life and in the one to come. Right? People that are destined for hell don't come here. Scoffers don't come here because I don't speak the easy stuff. I don't speak the easy stuff. I speak the truth. I speak what is possible, even though it might be uncomfortable. What is possible, even though it might be uncomfortable. I speak the fact that you have to do something and not be at the mercy of some fake, half-drunken prophet, or supposed mystic or spiritualist, right? You have everything that you need to make it in this life on the inside of you. You have the seed of your faith. You have the seed of your future on the inside of you. And you don't need any other person but God to make it in this life, right? So let's go back to our topic. We're starting our book here, The Confidence Game. That's what we're on. The Confidence Game by Maria Konnikova. Right. So that's our night book in the series here on our book club, and to help us in the study and to get breath in the study, we're reading three other books in addition to this one, just to give us the breath that is required. You know, one of those is The Heart of a Khan by Paul Wilson, right? Is one of the books we're reading to give us breadth and depth in our study of the con game. The other one we're reading is The Big Con uh, by David Maurer. Is another book we're reading here, to give us breadth and depth on the topic we're taking. And the third book we're looking at is The Mark Inside, right? And this is by Amy Redding, and holding a beat just to make sure that we treat the topic we're on, rightly, that by the time we're done, we understand that when they're just speaking on the surface level. As Albert Einstein would say, if you can't break down something to talk to a little baby about it, then you don't understand it, So I seek to understand so that when we share here, I'm able to talk about it in as simple as possible. I don't come here using big English, to share with you, but I can break it down to the smallest, minutest detail, and we can all just learn together, grow together, and become better by reason of our time together, So welcome to another time here at the book club. So we're gonna continue here, and it's gonna be chapter two. Chapter two talks about the put up, right? The hook up, how to draw, or how to get the victim, the mark, into the game. Right. Don't forget, we're talking about the confidence game, which is pretty much a game that involves you handing the trust of someone with the intent of abusing that trust. Right? That's what the confidence game is about, is handing the trust of someone in a bid to abuse that trust to get some gain for yourself, right? And there are different words for the confidence game. Is some people call it the doodling game. Some people call it a swindling. The 419 is a popular one. There's we'll call it mogul in our local vernacular, But key thing is a deception. You're deceiving people with the intent of getting something from them. It might be their loyalty, it might be their treasure, but it might just be controlling them, right? But there's something you're getting from them by reason of deceiving them, in a sense, hypnotizing them, with the intent of getting something from them that you will either to have not gotten, by means of reasoning. In their proper mind, they won't give it to you, but you get them to a place where they give it to you against uh right reasoning, right thinking, because you have colored their reasoning to be able to use to be able to get them to do something they will not have either to done, right? So, and what the intent we're reading it is not to teach you how to go con somebody, but the reason we're doing it is so that you can learn what the game is about. You can learn the in and outs of the game with the intent of not being a victim, right? So that when someone is playing that game, you can easily sense what is going on and deliver yourself before you become hypnotized, by their scheme. Right. So that's the reason why we're doing the sharing, is to make each of us wiser for that wiser, so that we don't become a victim of such plays, and which is going on every day all around us. from the ones that are with different levels of intensity. We'll see it in the church, we'll see it in our family, we'll see it in our association, our clubs, our everyday interaction. Some level of con game is going on, right? So, but irrespective of the one you find yourself, the reason we're doing is so that you can see it. You can see it for what it is. You can see the tree for the forest, right? That's why we're doing this, and I hope we're hitting our mark. Feel free to get back, with your questions, addition, or whatever it is, and we can, both all learn together and grow by that reason. All right. The additional thing I'm trying to do, like I say, I've been saying all through the study, is also, confidence is something we need, to live life successfully. And, as much as we're looking at the evil side as we go along, we'll also be learning some of these attributes we can use, to win in life in a moral way, in an ethical way. These principles, there are ethical sides to them, right? So we're not missing that as we go through this. As much as we talk about the unethical part, we're also not missing, the opportunity to talk about the ethical part, but the moral part to it, because you're not going to win in life if you're not confident, right? You're not going to win in life if you don't take control of the atmosphere you find yourself. If you don't rise to the occasion of life, life will sweep you out, right? Life will run riot on you, right? Life will cheat you of the best if you don't stand up, and take control of the atmosphere, of the details of your life. Yeah, we're not here to control any other person, but we're here one thing, to control ourselves and lead our life in such a way that we will rise up to be the highest expression of all that the Creator has made us to be. That we have our highest expression of all God has invested on the inside of us. We'll be cheating ourselves, and we'll be cheating the world if we cannot express the person God has made us to be. The world does not want us to express ourselves. The world would rather have us copy someone else. Some people will say, they copy me. Oh, I'm the prophet. Oh, sons of the prophet, do like me. I'm your archetype. It's foolish people. Foolish people. They suppose themselves to be God. Now, in their right senses, if sense will come to them, they will understand that they have not arrived themselves. They should be present to know more, growing, and they should not limit other people's growth by what they think is their own perfection. Right? We're here to be the highest expression of all God has made you to be, not to be like your pastor, not to be like your geo, not to be like your whoever. You are here. You are your own person. God has deposited things on the inside of you, and He wants you to express that to the maximum, not be limited by any other person. Yet we'll start from where those ahead of us have got into, and we'll get better. Better, we'll go further, we'll go further, we'll go deeper, we'll go further, we'll go deeper. You don't have to reinvent the wheel of those that have gone before you. You can take what they've learned, what they've achieved, and do better. Anyone that loves you wants you to do better than them. I don't want anybody to see me as their limit. I'm here to tell you what I have learned, to share my life with you, not with the intent to limit you, but with the intent that you can go better, further than I have ever gone. Yeah, I'm here knocking on 60, right? If you're 20 years old, you have the benefit of momentum. You have the benefit of momentum. I'm giving you my 60 years experience. Add it to your 20, and you can walk at level of wisdom of 80, right? You can take what I have learned. You can take what I have paid the price for, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can do better than I've ever done, because you have years ahead of you. You have years ahead of you. You can learn, take my rags and use it. You don't have to wait for your own rags. You will not live long enough to learn everything by yourself. You can take other people's experience and use that to get momentum and do better and go further than they've ever gone. I am not your limit. Nobody's your limit. You can take what we have and add it to what you have and do better than us. Right? That's the way God will have things to be. That's the order of things, right? Don't mind people that have insecurity issues and trying to limit you. The chains are off you. You can do better. You can go further than we've ever been. You have life. You have years ahead of you, right? We probably have more years behind us than in front of us, but you have more years in front of you than behind you. Make that work for you. Let that work for you. Let that work for you. Take the wisdom and run. Right? All right, great stuff. I'm gonna bring up here my slides and we'll take this in a structured format like we typically do. Alrighty. So if you're out there on my blog inside uncleakin.com or you're there on my YouTube channel, you'll see my slides. Here on Facebook, don't get to see the slides, but you don't need them, right? They're just ways to keep me structured, right? You're gonna get everything without needing the slides. So let's take it. So again, we're chapter two of a book, the quote that runs through chapter two, it says, I can spot someone's weakness a mile away. In any room, I can pick out the best target. So says a former con artist, and that's just the start, the foundation of a con artist. A con artist can con someone he does not know. You can't win against the enemy you don't know. That's what some we learn from Sun Tzu, right? The Art of War. He says that if you don't know your enemy, if you don't know your enemy, you don't know yourself. You're gonna lose every time, right? If you know your enemy, you don't know yourself. You win some, you lose some. But if you know your enemy, you know yourself. That guarantees you success because then you're able to fashion a strategy that works. You're able to fashion a strategy that will make a difference for you. Hey, hey, Sam, how are you doing? Good afternoon. Welcome. You can plan a strategy that works because strategy needs knowledge. You can't plan a strategy if there's no knowledge. You don't plan strategy from empty sky, empty air. You need to know to be able to plan. Right. So that's what Sun tells us that if you want to win every time, you got to know the enemy or know your object that you're working on and know yourself also because you are involved, in that game. So for Konates, he needs to get the information. He needs to find, who can high con, who the people I want to con, what is it about them? How do I plan the right script, to be able to this person, and that's what we call the put up, right? The con artist, thank you, my brother. The con artist, finds out about the victim, finds out about the weakness of the victim, so he can use the weakness of the victim against the victim. Also finds out about the strength of the victim, so that he's able to deflect the strength, in the strength not come in the way of the game that he is trying to plan, right? So, and that's what the all of chapter two is about, how to understand the victim in such a way that you're able to then overcome the victim. Because that's what the con game is all about. It's all about conquering people. It's all about conquering people. Kind of funny to me, because when you read the book of Revelation, Jesus will talk about he hates a certain set of people. It says that he calls them Lycoladians, he called them. And these were those that conquered people, the conquered people. And you see a lot of that in the church. You see people on the pulpit, talking down to people, making them feel like they can't do anything on their own, making them to have what we call a learned helplessness, right? Making them to feel that the only way forward is spirituality, spirituality. I've been in the church, when someone that was management, in the secular world was giving a suggestion to the church and it was shut down because if he was told that That does not work in the spiritual things. Stupid. Whether you're in the church or spiritual, wherever, we're all human, right? We're all human. The church is not about spirit. The church is about human beings, right? The church is about human beings. And if you don't reach human beings, you're not a church. You're something else. You're not a church. You're cult, right? We're here to have a human experience, not a spiritual experience. When we get to heaven, we're going to have a spiritual experience. God put us here to have a human experience. And if you cannot see the humanity, or we cannot see the humanity in one another, we're failures. We're failures. We're not good for this, so might as well die and go, right? But while we're here, we need to respect and honor our humanity because we're here to have a healthy experience, right? When we get heaven, we're going to have heaven. We're here on earth, right? We're here to enjoy earth, right? Jesus Christ says, occupy, right? Take our place, conquer while we're here, right? Not doing fake spirituality and living in our future life in our present. No, we're here to conquer every moment, every second that we have here, and enjoy the benefit of being alive. There are a lot of people that are dead that wish they were alive, but they're not. The Bible says a living dog is better than a dead lion. So while the dog is living, enjoy your being a dog, right? So, uh, it's so as much as we're going to talk about this for the con actors, it's something that we all need in our life, being able to understand and know the people that we deal with. Again, I'm studying Proverbs chapter 9 right now as part of my whole study through the book of Proverbs. 2, 3 years ago, I started a study in the book of Proverbs. We're presently in verse chapter 9 at this point in time in our study. And at verse 7 and verse 8 kind of hit me. Scripture, as is both of them in verse 7, it says, don't help, don't cancel a scoffer, right? Because it might lead to your shame. You might be tainted by trying to help a scoffer. Is irredeemable, right? As much as you're trying to show him what is right, is gonna lead you to a place where you don't want to go, right? It's gonna it's gonna weary you out, probably gonna make you say things you shouldn't say, probably gonna make you look stupid just as he is, right? So discover is irredeemable. All you do is avoid the person. So how do I then avoid going through that trouble with a scoffer? Is for me to identify the scoffer before even the discussion starts, right? If I'm able to identify that you're a scoffer, someone that is always looking at the bad side of things, someone cannot see good in anything, someone that's trying to deride things. If I can see that and know that ahead of time, I saved my life, I saved my time, I saved the trouble of trying to help you. I know that you're irredeemable. I go to better people to focus my life on, my person on. Jesus says, if you go to a place and they're not going to receive you, shake off the dust from your feet, and that will answer against them even on judgment day, right? So it helps to know people, so that you can then relate with them, right? Whether this one is worthy of my time or not. Whether my time spent with this one is going to be worthwhile, then I can save myself the trouble. Right. We all have 24 hours in a day. There's no use wasting it, right? On things that are not going to produce any good results. Right. So it helps. It helps to be able to see people from afar, not for the purpose of using them, but for the purpose of optimally using your own time, right? And know what you engage in and what not to engage in. Right. So but for Scott, for the con actors, he's looking for victims, right? So he's looking for victims. So looking for people he can easily conquer, right? So and that's a put up. Put up is all about looking for the victim, looking for the right victim, and looking for how to go about conquering that victim. So for a con artist, though, intuitive psychology, the process of sizing up who someone is, what the process of sizing up who someone is, all right, what they're made of, what they desire isn't a nice evolutionary byproduct or a fun way to pass time. It's their livelihood. For a con artist, it's their livelihood to be able to understand and know people because they're in the people game. They're in the people game not for the purpose of blessing the people, but for the purpose of conquering the people, right? The church is in the people game, not for the purpose of cunning of running riot on the people, not for the purpose of defeating the people, but for the purpose of building the people, for the purpose of helping the people, for the purpose of partnering with the people, for them to be successes in their life. That is Jesus' vision of the church. So when you read in Ephesians chapter 4, the Bible says that he has called people into ministries for the purpose of preparing the saints for the work of the ministry so that they can be grown in such a way that they're not beaten about by every wind of doctrine. That's what reason for Jesus setting up a church, right? So if you're in a church that is not doing that, you're not in a church, you're in a cult. If your church is not building you up, if your church is not preparing you, for the storms of life, for the pressures of life, for the difficulties of life, you're not in a church. You're not in a church. Sorry, I have to be the one to tell you, but you're not in a church. You're in something, but not a church, because the intent of a church is to help us to face life. If your church is not helping you to face life, you're not in a church, you're in a cult, right? A church is supposed to help you to face life, right? It's supposed to help you to express that which God has put on the inside of you. It's supposed to help you to show for the Jesus on the inside of you, right? It's supposed to help you to have the human experience, victoriously, right? But a con artist is out there, not surely not to do that, but to run riot on you, to conquer you, right? To conquer you, you know, which, like I just said, is like the people Jesus was talking about in Revelations. It says they conquer people, they make the people look small. They make the people, they put the people under them. Oh, under them. I'm the set man. So you are not, you are the set members. I'm the set man, or you are the set boys or set girls. Stupid, right? Stupid. You're only an under shepherd. Jesus is the shepherd. And you're not the limit of the people in your church. They can grow bigger than you. You're just a man. You're just a man, right? And you're a con artist when you start doing that also, because that's what a con artist does, is to conquer people, and to conquer people, he first of all needs to understand people. He understands people such that in a way that he finds out their weaknesses, Mm. how to keep them captive, how to bind them and keep them ever under him. Now, and never be able to grow bigger than him, right? So one of the strongholds of con artistry is the ability to download a victim's life, right? To be an effective con artist, you have to be able to download the life of your victim, not to use it to help them, but to use it against them. You download who your victims are, what are their weaknesses, their strengths, and use that against them. And we find that everywhere, again, including the church. I'm a church boy, sorry, if I've been bashing the church. That's where I live. I see it in the office place also. People find it about you and want to use it against you. Uh, they think you should be small all the days of your life and never grow, right? So you find it everywhere. Everywhere you find man, will the devil replicates. You'll find such, right? But one of the strongholds of con artistry, one of the strongholds of being able to swindle you, one of the strongholds of being able to play 419 on you, one of the strongholds of being able to mogul you is that they find out about you. They find out about you, right? And use what they find out against you. I have the privilege of having been in several timeshare meetings, which is a con game. The whole thing that runs that is the con artistry. But again, when they call you there, They ensure that you're able to close the deal when you go there, right? So they ensure you're coming with your driver's license. They ensure you're coming with your credit card because they want to get you an environment where they can hypnotize you to make a decision. You make that decision before leaving, right? If it takes your wife to close a deal, they'll make sure you come with your wife. You won't, if you come alone, they won't allow you in, right? They make sure you have everything it takes to close a deal for you to come to the meeting, right? And when you get there, they take your detail, keep you sitting. What they are doing when they keep you sitting is investigating about you. They're finding about you. They're probably going on the social media. Oh, who is this person? Where does he work? What does he like? Yeah. Even while you're sitting down there, they're possibly observing you, seeing how you are, what you're doing, because that then gives them what how to talk to you, what to focus on, right? It tells them how to talk to you, what to focus on, because they're trying to make you feel comfortable with them enough to be able to make that decision to buy their timeshare, right? So you sit down there, and if they don't win the first person they give to you, they say, "Oh, it's gonna give it to his boss." So they keep you waiting for some time again. It goes in there, it's downloading to the boss. Everything that he has done, what he thinks, they come together and form. Oh, why might he be resisting? They spend time, agree on that. Then they bring a new set of people who's supposed to be the boss of the first one and go to another section with you, right? All in a bid because they want you to buy a timeshare, which is typically not, it's not a good product for most people, right? If it was a good product, they won't go to all that trouble. It's not. It might look like a good product, but at the end of the day, you lose money. There are easier, better ways of getting vacation time than buying a timeshare. It's not a good product. So they have to use a con artistry to get people to buy it, right? So it's also for someone to swindle you, they need to know about you, right? And several ways today of getting information about you. Easy one is on social media. People can get a lot of things about you if they want to swindle you. Uh, they also come to you, in different ways, offer you different things to be able to get information about you, right? So don't necessarily be too carried away if someone starts by telling you things about you that is not supposed to know. He's found it out somewhere, either easy through social media, easy through a third party, easy by paying for it. God did not tell them. They found it out. Don't be easy carried away by spiritism. It's all a con game. All a con game. All a con game. Could probably say 90% is a con game. There are probably a few real ones, but most of it's a con game. Even if it's not a con game, you know, don't allow you to don't become a servant, a slave, hypnotized by someone seeming spiritism. That's not why we're here. That's not the way God has ordained that we live. He put something between our two ears called our brain. He wants us to use it. Don't do stupid things because someone seemingly has the answer to your problem. He doesn't. Only God has the answer to your problem. Only God has the answer to your problem. Don't let fear rule you because once they get that fear in, they're going to run riot to you. You'll regret the things you would have done with such people, right? So the ability is indeed, the ability is indeed the first step of a con, the put up, the moment when a confidence artist investigates and chooses a spray. So the con artist, is a predictor, right? He needs to get information to choose a spray and go after the spray, carefully. You know, every predictor does that, right? Not just the con actors. Every predictor sizes up a moment, sizes up the environment. You won't see a lion just go and attack anything. Lion is first going to watch. The prey is smaller than the lion. So you wonder why the lion still has to watch. The lion doesn't pounce just on any animal. He stays and watch. And he's looking for certain things or to decide which of the animals to pounce on. They don't pounce on more than one at a time. They're looking for the one behind. They don't go for the one in front or the one in the middle. They're looking for the ones behind. They're looking for the ones distracted. They're looking for the ones that are the weakest. Lion has all the power, but still looking for the one that's the weakest. Lion is looking for weakness. A predictor is looking for weakness. A con artist is looking for weakness. A swindler is looking for weakness. A 419 is looking for weakness. And if they can find that weakness, they're going to use it against you. And that's what's important, that we know ourselves also, and we don't deceive ourselves. You should know your weaknesses and admit it. Because if someone finds out your weakness that you're trying to hide, he will run riot on you and will win. Because you yourself have not accepted your weakness. Therefore, you have not put the right protection around your weakness. Because until you accept your weakness, you cannot defend against it. When we accept our weakness, then we'll put defenses, we call boundary conditions around them, right? So that's why we all need healthy boundaries around us, right? When I know my weakness, I put healthy boundaries around me. I'm a man of God. I've been born again the last 42 years. I'm still flesh. I still get crazy when I see beauty. My head can go upside down when I see a naked body. I don't deceive myself. I'm spiritual doesn't mean I still carry this body, and this body flesh reacts to the things that are heavenly. If I don't know that, if I don't accept that, then I will expose myself to places, that can easily overcome me. I was in Thailand a few years ago, and we stayed in an hotel. At some time in the night, girls rushed into that hotel. I was not asleep. I was lying down my bed, and girls rushed into that hotel and were knocking on every door. If I was stupid, I would have opened my door. Then my testimony would have been gone. Today I can post freely on social media because I know my record is clean. That's because I accept my weakness. I'm man, I'm not spirit. I'm man, I'm not spirit. I'm man, I'm not spirit. So I don't expose myself to the things that will make my flesh overcome me. Right? You need to know your weaknesses, accept them, and protect yourself against them. You need to know your strength also, and know that your strength also has limits. Don't be too overconfident in your strength as well, because your strength can kill you just as much as your weakness can kill you. Because if you are too overly confident in your strength, it can fail you because you're still human, right? So if we don't accept our weaknesses or our strengths, the enemy will use them against us. The swindler is looking for those. Yes, this is your strength. It can give you things along your strength, all in a bit to hook you, just as much as it can expose you to the things that your weakness, all in a bit to hook you. In the Bible talks about a king. I think that's Balaam and Balak, and he called the prophet to come curse Israel, and the prophet could not curse Israel because God protected Israel. So God was a secure protection. Guess what? It wasn't only God that was a protection against Israel. Israel was also the protection against itself by what it did or did not do. Balaam knew that. So Balaam advised Balak and said, hey, I can't curse you. God will not change his mind. But these people can change their own mind. Send the women amongst them. Send the women amongst them. Send the women amongst them. If they are not, if they are not recognize, if they don't recognize their own weakness and what releasing themselves to go riot on the women will do to them, you have them. Israel, the men, ran after the women, and that brought about the curse that Balaam was not able to pronounce upon them, upon them. They did not recognize the weakness of their flesh. The women came and they ran after them, and God killed them. He brought about a curse upon them. Right? He brought about a curse upon them. Right? So you can curse yourself when you are not you don't recognize your strength and your weakness. If you allow your weakness to run riot on you, you can bring about a curse upon your own self. If you are too confident in your own strength, you can bring about a curse upon yourself. Right? So you need to know that. You need to know your strength, your weakness, and thereby, have healthy boundaries around yourself, healthy boundaries around your weakness, healthy boundaries around your strength. Don't be overconfident in your strength. Don't be exposed in the area of your weaknesses, right? Otherwise, the devil, who is the chief con artist, will run riot on you. His children also can run riot on you when they see that you don't have a defense for yourself, right? When they see that weakness, they can run riot on you. I came back here to work locally 2016, and I guess I came back with an innocent mind, right? A mind that thought good of everybody, and that was used against me, right? You know, that was used against me, and in a sense, it was my fault. I didn't know better. I didn't protect myself. I wasn't cognizant of my weakness, nor my strength. I just loved everybody and just thought I called myself a free spirit, but that word is not, you have to have some reservations around that because that to this world is not that open to free spirit, right? Free spirit, people are going to set a trap for you. You cannot. A free spirit is as good as a simple person, a stupid person. All right. You got to be prudent about your ways. You can't be free spirited towards all. You got to watch. You got to watch. You got to watch. As much as you love people, not everybody necessarily loves you. Again, I come back to what my mama used to tell me as I began to be faithful in church, giving to church, and all of that. And mama said, hey, not everybody that comes to church has the same spirit. So be watchful. Watch your back. Watch your back. Not everybody comes to church and comes for God. A lot of people come for themselves, including people on the pulpit. They have other agendas other than God. They have other agendas other than going to heaven. So be careful. Don't assume everybody wants to go to heaven. Not everybody wants to go to heaven. Not everybody even believes in heaven. Not everybody believes in God, even though they come to God church. You'd be surprised. There are people on the pulpit that don't believe in God. So if you believe in God, believe in heaven, protect it. Protect it. You might be the only one in your church that does. Protect it. Right. So, um, a swindler, is very perceptive, right? Because the information he gets is what helps his artistry. Just the same way every predator does. Like I said, the lion does not just pounce on his victim. It sits down and watch. Every predator, natural instinct of every predator is not to suddenly pounce on the victim. They sit down and watch. They watch, study, and look for weakness. They look for weakness to latch on, right? They look for weakness to latch on. They look for what or a witch to latch on. And if you're going to win in life, you have to be the same. If you're going to win in life, you don't just jump on any project, any opportunity that comes your way. You don't just pick on anybody as a partner, as a worker. You have to open your eyes to see, open your senses to see. And we'll see, we'll make decisions, from all the openings in us, or what we call the five senses, right? We judge what we see and what we see, you know, by what we see with our eyes, by what we smell, by what we taste, by what we feel, right? By what we hear, right? We use our five senses. They're giving us information. And that in psychology is called the person perception. It's a different mental process that we use to form impression of other people. We form a vision, a concept of someone else by what we see. And that for me is a big one. I'm very visual. I'm seeing someone, I'm already noticing everything. Is she beautiful, not beautiful? Is he good, not good? And that used to be an hindrance for me. I'll confess. That used to be an hindrance for me because I'm a very visual person. Very visual person. Not just visual, I'm a very visual person. And it could limit me, right? Yes, sir, they do. Yeah. So I'm a very visual person, and what I see can either make me want to come close to you or not close to you. That is a weakness for me. As much as it's a strength, it's a weakness for me, because what my eyes see at that point in time can make me want to come close to you or not close to you. And even close to you might be wanting to get too close that I have to control myself because I'm a very visual person. I can easily, when I see someone, I can tell immediately. Something hits my head. She's beautiful, not beautiful. He's handsome, not handsome. He has a big nose. He has that. He has that. All of that are running straight into my head at that point in time. And that's just natural. Now I have to be careful not to allow that to control me or to overcome me. I have to tailor it, put it in its right place. And it has to be conscious for me because I'm a very visual person. Um, I have a photographic memory. Once I see something, I see it for life. I might not remember people's names, but I don't forget faces. It sticks. Even when it sticks, right? So, that's one of the ways by which we perceive things, right? So it's natural will perceive from this that depending on how wise and conscious you are, what you're perceiving, you could help you or not help you, right? But we're gonna pick from here next week. I'm at the 1 hour mark, and I try to do this for 1 hour and shut it down. So it's a connect is a predictor will perceive, right? And it's called person perception. The perception we get using our five senses, right? It's a different mental process that we use to form an impression of other people or other things. We either what we see, what we smell, what we taste, what we feel, and what we hear, right? And and on the generality, when we see that, we compare it with our whole data, right? For me, due to an event of life that happened to me when I was about 5 years old, uh, there's something that I smell. One time have a particular smell, I quickly give it quickly registers to me as one meaning. And I've carried that all my life until I met a lady from Trinidad and Tobago out in Houston one time. And I was perceiving that same smell that I couldn't put the same interpretation to that smell because the person I was smelling here did not fit the model that has always been in my mind. And that was a change process for me, where it stopped being an automatic correlation. What I smell this, it means that. It stops being that because this did not fit that model, right? So, but we form perceptions from what we see, what we smell, what we hear, what we feel. Somehow we feel something and we think it's that, right? That is instinctive. It needs us to come in there and make sense of the whole process, right? Sometimes just eating our senses does not give us the right full answer. We need to do some processing to form the right perception of what the senses that we are receiving mean, right? That's on a generality. And that's part of what the Conactist does. He allows things through the different five senses, but he processes it, you know, to be able to use that information, to conquer that object. The same way every predictor does. But we don't have the predictors to use the same thing, but we need to be cognizant of the interpretation of our perception, so we can direct our ways aright. Like I shared in Proverbs chapter 9, verse 7, he talks about what we do to a scoffer or to a wicked person, right? If I know you're a scoffer, then I already know what to do. He's a scoffer, all right, stay away. Is he redeemable? He's a wicked person, all right. He's set in his ways. But if I don't know, then I waste my time with a scoffer, become tainted myself. I am myself. I waste my time with a wicked person. And I waste and I become the victim myself. It helps for me to be able to discern what I'm seeing so that I can take the right action concerning it. Right. Anyways, we're gonna stop here. Thanks, Sam, for coming along. God bless you. Thanks, thanks, thanks. We'll continue from here next week, Sunday, God willing. All right, God bless you. Thank you, my brother. Thank you everyone on YouTube. Thank you everyone on my blogging site. See you same time next week, God willing. Bye-bye.